to pay for care.
As African Americans, we've been abused for so long, consistently by the system. Why should we trust it? Why should we go to it when ill? And that's iatrophobia. That's a fear of the healer, inculcated by the behavior of those healers, unfortunately.
Thank you for calling the White House VA hotline. If you are having thoughts of suicide, press 7 now to be connected with the Veterans Crisis Line. We look forward to talking to you. Please remain on the line, and your call will be answered in the order received. Once you are connected, your call may be monitored or recorded for training purposes. If selected, would you be willing to answer a 2-minute survey at the end of this call about your White House hotline experience? Press 1 if you're willing to participate in the survey, or press 2 to continue. Thank you for contacting the White House VA hotline. My name is Lori. How can I help you?
Yes, I'm calling in to I talk about several complaints I have with my primary care providers and the medical care that the lack of medical care that I'm receiving from the Detroit VA, the John D. Dingle Center, Veterans Affairs Medical Center in Detroit, Michigan.
Okay. Can I get your name?
Melvin Henry Jr. Last 4 is, you know my last 4?
1 second.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay, tell me a little bit about what's going on.
Okay, I'll start from, hold on, let me get my dates in order. Hold, give me 1 sec.
Okay.
All right, let me see. We're going to go back to, hold on, let me open up this one. First primary care provider that I initial a complaint on was a Dr. Persuade. Hold on, let me get that exact date for you. Hold on. Sorry, I have them already. I was just about to email them.
Oh, you're fine. Take your time.
Wait, 24, June 7. I think it was Okay. All right. The first one is on 01/04/2016 that I did get this amended by a Dr. Persuade.
Okay.
Right, and that one, and again, I had never received any feedback from there, so that was from the 6/01/04/2016, as I stated. Now, what happened was, she was Indian, and I had like a real. Do you want me to tell you a little bit about it, or even read it to you what I went through, or?
Absolutely. Yep, I need to know about it.
Okay. All right, give me a second. Get this bigger. Let me pull this over to another window.
The more the better.
Okay, give me a second. All right, I'm going to read it off for you fully from that incident. Wait, no problem. Big. Okay, hold on. Wait, hold on. Wait. Oh, sorry, no. That was January 4th, 2016. Sorry, I jumped ahead. Oh, no, I was right. All right.
Yeah, that's the day you gave me, yep.
Okay, all right. Before a visit with Dr. Persuade, I went to medical administration to request a change in primary care provider at 11 o'clock. Spoke with Ann in patient services about my concerns about Dr. Persuade because I knew I would have issues on my scheduled appointment with communicating with Dr. Persuade. I did not feel taking my concerns to patient advocate would benefit me from my previous history of filing complaints because of issues with a couple of doctors in my 4+ years of treatment at John Dingle VA Hospital in Detroit, VA. I have issues with her progress notes dated 1/04/2016. I never felt at any time Dr. Persuade emphasized with my pain. Her main concern on previous visits was to get me to submit to a urine sample for screening when I had already done one a month or two prior in the pain management clinic under Dr. Adler's care. Her primary focus was on that first visit was urine sample. I felt she was acting like a police officer / probation officer. I told her that I did not. I said it's okay. I told her I did not feel I needed to urinate at that time. If I knew I needed to urinate, I would have held it in the AM to take the test. She then stated I could do it in a couple hours. I thought that was a bit awkward during that visit. During that visit, I stood 8 to 10 feet from her by design because she seemed a bit afraid, reading her body language, how she was crouched in the corner by the computer. I remained closer to the door while I was communicating to her my level of pain in a moderate, controlled tone. She stated, "Could you sit down? You're making me nervous." The way she stated it was more of a demand, not a request. Also, her continued push for me to go to a non-opioid treatment that failed. I stated to her, "It has taken me 2+ years to find what works to manage my pain, and that keeps me mobile." I articulated to her then that I have to stand, sometimes move around to make the pain subside before I start having right side pain spasms. Because I ride the bus or walk here, by the time I get here, my pain level is between 8 to 10, goes right to 10 when I have to sit and wait for appointments, something that I have articulated in writing many times. She stated, "You always say your pain level is 10, but you're on Vicodin." I stated, "When I'm at home, it brings it to 3 to 4 when I relax. If I carry anything, take a bus, or even ride in a car that's bumpy, old car, bad, shocks, I get sick, nausea, headaches, back and neck pain, arms, shoulders as well. If I take medicinal marijuana with the Vicodin combined with hot showers and heated pad placed 80 degrees, heated in my place like 80 degrees and above, I can get it lower than 3 when I lay and rest and take it easy." I then went on to communicate to her how I have been dealing with my chronic pain by using medicinal marijuana and the Vicodin. She stated she does not prescribe narcos if you're using medicinal marijuana. I asked her, was that a VA mandate or her own personal preference? She stated it's her own and I will not change her mind. At that point, I quit communicating any intimate details about my medical history. I kept the conversation very basic. I personally felt that she was trying to dictate to me how she wanted to treat me without any input from me, countering what the doctor and patient relationship is supposed to be. By the arrogant statement that had no place in the conversation, I will not change her mind. On 01/02/04, she advised me she was going to cut my meds down. I stated to her I was in more pain because I quit medicinal marijuana for the 3 months to personally gauge my addiction rate if I had any, and because I was in more pain during the winter because of the cold, so it would make sense to start cutting down my meds during the summer when I'm in less pain and have less pain spasm. She stated she only prescribes 180 Vicodin, and I stated to her, is that a VA mandate or is that again her own personal standard to pad her personal stats? She became openly frustrated and said many doctors do it in primary care, and I stated again to her, is this a VA policy or your own personal standard you set? She tried to talk around it again. I then re-articulated the statement again the third time. Finally, she said yes, it's her personal choice. I then began to stand because I was in pain, and she then told me to sit again, a command, not a request, voice tone and body language. I noted. Right. Yeah. I stated, why are you scared? I am by the door, not in close proximity to you by design. She then stated she isn't scared, that you're making me nervous. I then stated if I need to stand, I will to feel better. I'm not harming you or threatening you in any fashion, so I should stay in pain to make you comfortable. I was going over my notes, holding my smartphone, something I do out of habit because in pain I'm mentally off focus at times, so I use Google Keep to store notes that when I need to come back to point of focuses, I use them. I was articulating to her the spasms I had on Christmas Day and being physically ill in front of family. She then stated to me, put down my phone. Again, a command. The way she articulates these commands are verbally intrusive. My personal feelings is the tone she takes and the words she uses to communicate. They are not respectful at all. I then communicated to her, I do have the ability to multitask. I can listen and read and hold a conversation at the same time. We came back to the topic of medication and that I need to sign a contract of consent and urine sample, which I was prepared to do because you was so persistent. She then stated, with sarcasm, she then stated, I could try to find another VA primary care provider. I then stated I had already set that in motion, that Dr. Rahman should have contacted her by now about that request I made on the 5th floor earlier before this appointment. She then asked me who did I speak with on the 5th floor, and that was in patient services. I stated to her, why does that matter? She then became upset, pushed herself away from the keyboard, and stated, well, I can't help you. You're hiding things from me. I stated, wow, I do not have to tell you who I talk to if I have an issue with you with your form of care. I then stated, you're more of a dictator than doctor who should be a partner in my health and wellness. She then became visibly aggravated, caught up in her emotions. I couldn't really understand what she was communicating to me at that time due to her accent. She walked out of the room, then a nurse came in after 3 to 5 minutes and asked me what do I need. I then stated to the nurse, you need to go back to the doctor and get clear instructions because I am only the patient. Her nurse stated, oh, she is with another patient in the room next. Very transparent antics here. Dr. Paturi re-entered the room after 5 minutes. By this time, I was listening to music to calm myself and didn't hear her enter. She was standing in front of me stating that I'm going to sign the consent contract or get another provider. Also, she sent a orthopedics appointment request, and I would have to go to fee-base to work out these issues I was having with Veterans Choice. At this time, I became annoyed with her transparent antics. It seems she was trying to pressure me to sign a consent form under how she wanted to treat me to pad her stats. She kept repeating over, thank you for your service. We are here to help you, which I feel is sarcasm in a negative situation. Same type tactic used against me with Saradia Gopia for my physical disability assessment test dated August 12, 2014. I couldn't write then. I was in too much pain, right arm and hand way too weak because I have all the nerve damage surgery. Anyway, I then stated that all you have done is add insult to injury. She then responded saying I insulted her by calling her a dictator. I then stated, you're not a... I'm sorry. Sorry. Oh, this is just the beginning. Believe me. Yeah. I then stated, you're not a partner in my medical care. She then stated, I don't know who you've been talking to accusing me of being a dictator. I then articulated to her that I judged her on her own merits and character, then pointed out where I felt during those 3 visits that she was being a dictator, not a partner. She stated she was trying to help like all doctors at the VA. I stated, I don't think you have any idea of what being a partner and a patient's health and wellness is. I then went on to articulate that I know Indian people very well. My ex-wife was Marathi. And that you're over... No, I'm sorry. And that you're... I mean, I can laugh about... Yeah, I can laugh... I'm sorry, I can laugh about it now, but I was really pissed.
Oh, I know.
Right.
I know. It's funny afterwards.
Yeah. And that you're overcompensating, trying to combat the stereotype of being a submissive Indian woman with your overly aggressive and intrusive form of conversation and personal comment. You're not going to change my mind, when all I was simply trying to explain as best as I could, articulate how I've been able to manage my chronic pain with medicinal marijuana the last 20 years. Yeah, because I moved and was living in Canada. That was one of the main reasons. But anyway, on that note, I felt she was too caught up in her feelings to continue conversation, and by the time I was annoyed with what I felt was transparent, low-intelligent games, using my medication along with her demeanor, her walking out, taking another patient, pressuring me in a veiled form to sign a consent form for medication under how she wanted to treat me personally again to pad her stats. To antagonize me, aggravate me, or what I like to call a low-intelligence temperament test or check. So I stated, this conversation is over. Walking out of the patient's room, an older senior white male veteran who witnessed most of the situation, room right across from mine, waved at me, I waved back. So if you need a witness outside of her nurse or the vital nurse, because I'm very biased, but anyway, nurse who was also present, you can get him. That would be your unbiased witness. All right, this is all personal. I'm appalled at the dirty tactics and unprofessional behavior of this woman and the nurse and the vital nurse who didn't say or do one thing to stop this situation. The VA allows these type of people to play games and insult a soldier who is in chronic pain, then use what manages that pain as a weapon against him or her is cowardice and inhumane, void of compassion and respect. Makes me think by design that we veterans have an oversaturation of Indian Asian doctors treating black soldiers at the Detroit VA. Personal note, if you want to help us, or as you instruct most of your medical professionals to state thank you for your service, how about action and not words by bringing down the number of veteran suicides from 44 a day to 0, when that number was 22 a day in 2013. The only thing that gives your words weight is action. Without action is empty oxygen. I can't trust most of the medical professionals there because the treatment by Drs. Radha Pachuri and Dr. Sarada Golopia And when other medical staff witness these outright forms of disrespect, they sit in silence. So you're just as guilty as the perpetrators. The good doctors are so few, it's like a godsend when you finally get one like Dr. Adler or Dr. Balkarishna, Dr. Trepiano, and Dr. Zaccanini. They're either leave or pass on death. Out of those good doctors, I personally would co-sign Dr. I can't even pronounce his first name, Chinichir Balkarishna as the best outside of the VA. What I experienced being under his care was a remarkable experience as a very people-oriented human with a soul, with a brilliant mind, and highly compassionate aura that exuded from his spirit. Melvin Henry, a.k.a. Carter Killer, Veterans U.S. Army, assigned for PSYOPs, Special Duty Army Boxing Team, written in 1/7/2016. All right, now, that was 2016. So what happens is I've been going through a lot since then because what they've done is continued to sign the Indian doctors who have a personal bias. And when I went to when they assigned me to a new form from this, they signed me to a new form. I strike that firm from this. The first instructions first question I was asked by my doctor then, which I was like, oh boy, here we go. He was like, what's happened? Do you mind you're your wife? I was like, oh my God. Yes. I was like, but it's just low intelligence deflection. I'm like, no, my wife is nothing like that. But anyway, it was just to deflect instead of deal with it. Yeah. Oh no, it's just beginning. Now, amended progress note from 04/03/2018. We're going to bring you up current to date now. I was going through a whole bunch during it. All right, now, here we go. Current. Dr. Jateleka, or whatever, I would just call him Dr. J, but Jateleka, I don't know, didn't know my medical history. I decided to go to patient advocacy. Here's the thing. This was so retarded to me. Every time before I meet with these, I can see it. It's like slow motion, so I would go to patient services to get an unbiased witness, right? All right, so I did it again. Because of the problems I had with the last Indian primary care provider, Dr. Rahada Pachuri. So I got Frank Velitray was in a meeting with to attend the meeting. All right. I'm sorry, I was answering his note in this. He fails to mention this in his note. Now, upon entering primary care provider office, the energy was very negative. He was extremely hostile. He didn't want to hear any information from me. He stated that he was tapering my medication down to 150. I then asked why I'm on this, so I asked him, which I always do to check him, because here's the problem. I believe what I've seen and what I experienced, most of them are tools. They have an agenda. When they set you there, they have their own personal agenda. So how I always trip them up is by asking for my in-depth personal history. If you're going to prescribe or do something, then you need to know my medical history. They never do, and as soon as I state that, they get pissed off. All right. So anyway, now I want to hear information from him. He stated that he was tapering my medication. All right, I'm on this form of medication. All right. I then asked why I'm on this form of medication, what are my injuries, to see if he knew my medical history, because I believed him to be just a tool to pass stats like last primary care provider. He became antagonistic, started yelling at me and pointing directly at me. Yeah, look, this dude was like 5'2", right? 5'2", 5'4". He gets up and starts pointing in my face and yelling. Hold up. Mind you, when I had the patient services, I got to go to his card. I mean, the patient services give you his full title. But Frank, so basically, this is his boss, right? And he's doing this in front of him. He then looked, I stated to him, who do you think you're yelling at and pointing at? And you need to calm down. He then looked at Frank and regained his composure and went into immediate antagonistic mode by bringing up my last visit with the LPN and stating, yo, this was crazy. He was like, your arm and back hurt. Like, no medical definitions on what's going on with me, the nerve damage. Like, basically I'm a baby. Your arm and back hurt. Yeah, so yes, I swear. Yeah. So I was like, I immediately looked at Frank and stated, do you see how he just minimized all my medical conditions? What this tool, I cannot call him a doctor, did was force Gestapo tapering with my medication to pass stats. All the things he said he offered, I stated to him, you haven't read my medical history, which details all the things you offer I use already. TENS unit, I have been to acupuncture therapy, and Lidogen doesn't work. His response was, everyone says that. Again, in front of patient service coordinator Frank, who allowed this tool to be highly disrespectful, never checking in for the disrespectful treatment. At one point, Dr. Jadalake, became so frustrated, I was asking him in detail for pain management. I haven't even tried. He stood up and stated, So he's like, I'm not, wait. Doctor became so frustrated, I was asking him in detail for pain management. I haven't even tried. He stood up and stated, I have more patience, and went to walk out, then stopped when Frank was staring at him. And that was the patient service. So he tried to pull the same thing, because like they all play up the same script. We don't agree with the level of disrespect that they do, they'll just walk out on us. But all again, which is very transparent to try to trigger us to deny us medical care if we just act in human emotion, right? So and again, addressing his note. Dr. Jakarta totally lied in his progress notes. He was trying to get me to state I will quit smoking marijuana for pain management. Ask him why he's couldn't. Did I redo this? I don't understand the response I did. Okay, no, this is when he called me. I'm sorry, this is 0423 at 13:53. I didn't say that you want me to stop using medical marijuana for you're setting me up. Oh no, I said you're setting me up for failure in healthcare. I could not understand the response. Accent very heavy. I did record the phone call. I record the phone calls, everything when I'm dealing with these individuals. I did it because Michigan is a one-party consent. I only have to know. But anyway, I did record the phone call as proof of his unprofessional manner and statement. He was trying to get me to see him in 2 weeks after yelling at me for asking him about my real medical history because I didn't bend to his form of treatment and did not eliminate myself by feeding into his disrespectful and antagonistic games. He decided to cut my meds down to 120. That's personal. If you view his progress notes, the misspelling of coordinator and his behavior with the veteran who was dealing with extreme chronic pain in front of patient service coordinator Frank Valeria, it shows how intellectually and unprofessionally inadequate this individual is. How the VA allows this type of behavior. Below will be a minute note from 104:6. I believe VA Indian staffers are playing games because of my minute note on Dr. Pachuri. Okay, now I'm going to deal with Frank Valetrieri, why he felt it was okay to do this. Before I went in to see the primary care provider, I was walking with Frank Valetrieri, and we're standing in front of my firm, and what's his name? Mr. Orr. Yeah, Mr. Orr, medical receptionist, states, you stand there to me, because I basically know about me because I write up. As soon as I get to, I'll write people up. So it seems to me they're on code because now before we went in the room, this is what was going on. He tells me to stand there and then tells Frank, the patient service coordinator, you can go back and speak with the doctor. That was Dr. Jack. So him and Frank went to speak with me before I even got to meet with him. You see this? So the bias is being set. And what I looked at, I was like, okay, he's trying to prime me up with the disrespect before I even go in there. So I didn't take that bait. So walking towards the room, this is what happens. This is before we get in the room, before all that I just articulated to you, this is what happens before we get in the room. Again, a doctor I haven't met yet who is supposed to be my primary care provider, yet the day I'm supposed to meet with him, I bring a patient service coordinator to monitor the meeting, Frank Valeria. Frank decides to make a statement while a black nurse, a female nurse, is walking towards us, witness. So now this is what he states. Oh, so now you want to be more agreeable. That's what Frank states to me, right?
Right.
Yeah, right outside the doctor's door. And they use the black nurses like this a lot too, so you can't claim racism inside the VA hospital. The games just don't stop. I swear. But anyway, hold on. So now the stated outside Frank's door, passing black nurse by design love to use these situations, white, Indian, or Asian doctors, so you can't say it's a race treatment. And I have been in many situations in Detroit VA witnessing how black female nurses are used in this fashion. Now for my personal analysis, judging this tool, Jakarta on its own merits, word out of his mouth. He services over 1,500 veterans, which is his caseload. He's extremely stressed out, so he doesn't care to know the full history of the veteran, that is a veteran patient. That is why he became so angry and hostile and antagonistic when I questioned him on my medical history. Also, he was like most Indian doctors, are biased towards medical marijuana used to treat chronic pain, and he had very harsh words from the pain clinic and Dr. Adler. Now, Dr. Adler I'm dealing with the one doctor that was really good because he was disabled. So he identified with veterans. All right, but now Dr. Adler was a few good doctors. I did encounter maybe he was disabled. It took the time to see and try to understand what you're going through as a disabled veteran. The Veterans Administration employs a large amount of Indian doctors because they know how racist and humane these Indian doctors are, which is documented fully in their history and treatment of black people. I ain't gonna go to Gandhi and I know all the history, the caste system, and all that. But anyway, I amended Dr. Pachuri progress notes for the same disrespectful treatment. I then gave a copy to Ann, a patient service coordinator, another copy for her to give to VA director. So the corrective action was to give me another Indian doctor just like her. The games and personal bias and disrespect illustrate to me the veterans suicide rate. All right, so go in there. Oh, it don't stop. So they switch and give me another doctor. Indian again. That's all right. And this one, it just gets worse. All right, we're going to May 24th, 2018 now.
Okay.
All right.
I'm going to stop you.
Okay.
I have what I need, but I'm assuming you have this written down somewhere?
Oh, yes, I do. All of
Okay.
Yeah.
Because what you're going to need to do is provide that information to your caseworker.
Okay.
When this case that I put out there is assigned to a caseworker, you can provide that information to them.
Okay.
This is an extensive issue here.
Yes. And I've just, I haven't been, from this, they've been trying to get me to sign. I've been dealing with, I have no pain management or anything, from them for the past 8 months. So I've been, dealing with pain on my own. See, that's a real severe thing, too. So I've been,
that's huge.
Right. But I'm sorry, go ahead. What were you saying? I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
So you're not taking any pain medication?
No pain medication, because I would not assign to the consent form and not going under a doctor under that care. Actually, the last thing that just happened, I was just going to tell you, in November, I went to this one and wrote them up, but what I wasn't doing, I wasn't turning them in. I was just keeping them because they were playing more games, like the minute note. So when I went to go see them in November, I wrote this one up. I'll read to you. And then I went to see him in November, and the doctor totally lied and called the police. Look, I swear he kept the door open because he was trying to antagonize me. I didn't say anything, No, so I asked him when I came back in. Actually, I went to outside of the VA. I even tried to go outside. Look, this is so crazy. I tried, because I had what am I on? Medicaid. So I had Medicaid. I went and tried to get Medicaid to get treatment outside of the VA. Oh my God, I didn't even tell you about the pain management clinic. Told me if I didn't like it, then leave. So I was told like that from the pain management clinic. So then when I tried to go outside the VA, this was like in June or July, when I finally did, they didn't even treat me because they called the VA and was and kicked me right back to the VA. So it's like I'm stuck and I'm stuck because even outside of that, they kicked me back to the VA. So I was like, all right, I'm not going there, I'm not dealing. So anyway, my point is, so in November the 2nd, when I went to see the doctor, this one I didn't even tell you that one about, but he basically, I went to him, I was like, all right, so I was like, and this the only reason why I did it is because now they just decriminalized marijuana here and you can use it for medical, right? So I was like, okay, now y'all can't use that excuse. So I went to him, I was like, so what answers, I said, did you come up with any answers for me for my pain management? He tells me, no, I don't have any answers for you. Like that, in a smart way. So I was like, I said, that's disturbing for you to be my medical provider and don't have any answers for me. And I was like, oh yeah, I remember you. The last time I was here, you was being very dismissive to me and waving me away with your hand. The dude looked at me and pushed the button under the desk, right? And I was standing there, he told me to sit down, and I was like, I can't sit down. See, the same game we do. I was like, I can't sit down. You know that if you knew my medical history, you would know that I'm in pain. I can't sit down. So I said, the dude pushes the button, and I was like, did you just call the police on me? He says, no. And then smirking, pushes the button again. So when I was like, oh, because I had this done before me too in DAV, but it's crazy. So I walked outside of the door to see okay, who's coming, right? So I was like, so then I turned back to him when I didn't see anybody coming. I was like, you know what, you're an intellectually inadequate coward. Yeah, I said, you're an intellectually inadequate coward. Now, here's the game they tried to play. So when I walked out, I didn't see a cop, right? So I was like, I didn't go to so I was like, I wrote up names. I didn't even tell you about patient advocate, but I was like, what they don't expect, because I done wrote them up too, is for me to go to patient advocate and submit a statement. So I turned right around, and then I located the patient advocate that was there, Mrs. Wolf. So then she tried to kick me to my God, what is her name? And I can't remember this dude's name. Miller, the patient advocate Miller, who I wrote up anyway on something else. I was like, no. I was like, why are you going to send me there when the incident happened here? You take it. So she pulls me in, then the game with them started as well, where she's like, oh yeah, he put you in here, like he did call the police on you, blah blah blah. So I went to grab my phone, and basically she was trying to antagonize me And I seen it because it was so transparent. It's like, okay, they don't have anything on me. You just denied me medical care when I didn't do anything, right? Because you didn't want to deal with me. And now what you putting me in a situation with her because I wrote up so many black nurses, right? So now you're trying to antagonize me so you can write, so it can go along and make his look better. So basically I told her something like she was like, oh, well, you know how our people are. She's like, I was like, whoa, she's trying to trigger me, right? So I didn't say anything. I was like, what do you mean our people? And I was like, oh, it's the cognitive dissonance in effect. And then she like got a little argumentative. So I went to grab my my tablet to put in a note. And then she was like, are you recording me? And I was like, look, this was crazy too. I was like, my tablet, I had just picked it up. I didn't even put the password in. I was like, are you serious? I said, you know what? This conversation is over. So I walked out. So then, but I was like, all right, I'm going to wait to get that paperwork because I need that paperwork. I need a statement stating that, yeah, you just called the police on me. You just denied a veteran, help, care. And so I went to records. I went to records to try to get it. And they was like, no, it's crazy. I've been going there since, like, was it 2013? No, it's like that. Maybe 2011. Yeah, I started. They have never, ever been late on the notes. The only time they've been late on the notes was the one that the situation with Dr. Jaleda, or whatever his name, when I tried to go get that one. That took them 4 days to come up with. And then this one. So they was like, oh, no. So I've checked 2 days, and I even went to the privacy office. And then all of a sudden, the privacy office, because there's nothing but black women in there, too. Now, the privacy officer is not there. So 2 days, I was like, oh, she's gone. But, okay, now it's one, but it's usually two. Oh, both of them were gone. So then I go back 2 days later. Oh, no, they're not. They're still not there. So I was like, all right, gang. So then I was like, you know what? I'm going to go to the police station, just go inside here, because that's another thing they didn't think I would do, to go inside there to get a statement. So I made a witness statement. So then all of a sudden, because they seen when I did that, so I finally get his note, and his note, he's lied and stated, oh, man, it's such a big lie. He stated that he didn't call the police. He opened the door and told me that he would have to because he's still nervous. I was like, he's such a liar. But the thing is, you really think you're going to get away with this when I kept such detailed notes? And my point, pausing. See, we're dealing with.
Let me give you the case number.
Okay.
For you.
Okay.
I'm going to send over and have someone look into this for you.
Okay.
All right, it's going to be 178.
Okay, wait, let me write it down. Give me a sec.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, give me a sec. I got to bring up my notes. Hold on. Where's all right, it's 178 025. Okay, hold on, not okay, wait. 178025.
Correct.
Okay.
I would give them a week or so to look into this.
Okay.
If you don't hear anything back, okay, then call us back and see if there's been any updates made to it.
All right, so I'll have to just use that reference number 178025?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
I should get a call from a worker. Okay. And who am I speaking with? Sorry.
Any agent that answers this will be able to pull it up and give you any updates to it.
Okay. Who am I speaking with again? Sorry.
This is Lori.
Okay, thank you, Lori.
Yeah, have a great day, sir.
You too.
I need you to hit the like button so they can register on YouTube algorithm. And again, if you enjoy this free content, this free information, and you leave here smarter, which is my intention, then go ahead and hit the like button.
For too long, the American medical community has been ignoring chronic pain. And this has created an epidemic of suffering. When we live with pain, we are not living our true selves. We are not living our best selves. We're not even living at all, because the pain overtakes our ability to think, feel, even to love.